Graham Potter is officially Chelsea's worst ever manager in the Premier League era. He is that bad, and I believe he needs to go. What I thought we could do today, though, is actually explore whether it is the correct decision, whether I'm being reactionary, whether Chelsea's board are correct to persevere with their chosen one, or whether I'm completely right. Helping me go through it is a neutral, I hope, Adeola Depot. Don't be too biased here.
No.
Because I know that you're revelling in this. I know you're enjoying this.
Yes,
I've given you your fair share about Klopp.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that you're
Klopp's
going to...
got a bit more to him, though, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean?
No,
a bit more man to him, doesn't he?
It's the worst thing that's ever been said about Graham Potter there. Said about Jurgen Klopp. I just compared him to Graham Potter, weirdly. Yeah. But look, it's going so badly. Like, in terms of a win percentage for Potter at Chelsea, he played 17 games. The win percentage is less than 30%. Less than 30% wins.
How many wins does he have in the league?
Well, I mean, it's
4?
It's 2 in 13 games, isn't it?
Jeez.
You know, it's so bad. No, if you analyse the numbers, Addy, if you analyse the numbers, it's mind-blowingly bad. Like, you wouldn't even realise. It's 2 wins in 13. If you look at the form table over the last, say, 14 games, we are relegation threatened.
Can we do this a different way round then? Can me and you try and find a reason as to why he should be in the job?
Yeah, we can play devil's
Can we
advocate.
do that? Because it's obvious as to why he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Not good enough. The win percentage, as you say,
all
Clay
of the
doesn't
numbers,
have like everything.
Goals scored,
everything points to get rid of him.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know what doesn't help him, by the way, is how good De Zerbi's doing as Brighton manager. I know they lost recently to Fulham, but they're scoring
loads,
playing good football.
Scoring loads.
So all of a sudden, it's not like Pot. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they went and all of a sudden they dipped.
Yeah. No.
He's gone and they've actually got better.
Okay, let's
explore why he should stay.
Okay, I'll start.
Go on then.
Apparently, these things take time. Potterism is going to take time. I just don't believe that it will ever come good. That's why I think we should end it. But if it is going to come good, it probably wouldn't have come good yet anyway.
That's a good one, because I agree with that. And I said this to you on sort of TalkSport on Monday when we were going back and forth, and I was like, look at Steve Cooper. And you shot me down, and you shot me down well. But I said, look at Steve Cooper. At the start of the season, he was given 1,000 players, and clearly it was going to take him time to kind of settle on his best 13 or 14. He's done that. All of a sudden, I think we saw on the weekend, them picking up a point against City, that he's finally got his best players because he's had a long time to look at them and decide. Potter's got a squad of 34, 35,
Yeah, 30,
and they keep adding to it all the time. It's like, give me time to find my best 11. I need time. I can't do it over 5 or 6 weeks. All of a sudden, in the January transfer window, you chuck another 7 players at him. It's like, can I breathe? I just about found my best 11. All of a sudden, you're giving me more. That takes time.
Okay, I know that we're playing the game here, but this is also very generous. Because what you're saying is, my wallet is too small for all of my £50 notes. Poor me. Isn't it? You're spinning something that's positive into a negative.
The only thing is, in that using that analogy, they're not his £50 notes.
No, but what you're saying is it's a gift to have a big squad. In a way, look, I appreciate that it takes management. I appreciate that it gives you a different sort of headache. But having an abundance of multi-million-pound footballers to select, I tell you what, you talk about De Zerbi. De Zerbi would love to be able to potentially select Mudryk. De Zerbi would love to potentially be able to select Aubameyang. He would love to be able to potentially select.
He would, but without the pressure of having to get results out of them immediately. He would love that. You're right. Everyone would love that. But they would always say, give me a few times to work with him. I'm a boxing guy, right? Anthony Joshua's just signed recently with a guy called Derek James. Derek James has openly admitted, don't expect to see miracles in the first couple fights. Like, it's going to take him a while for me and him to get on sync with each other. It's not going to happen.
Is that not just a very clever thing to do when you're new in a job? To give you a bit of time. Yeah, gives you a bit of time. It means that there's no pressure. Probably keeps you in the job a bit longer, which presumably you're earning all right. Like, keeping the job a bit longer is always good. But look, I do think this is an interesting way of approaching this video. Why should he stay rather than the hundreds of reasons why he should leave? I'll give you another reason, right, which just sprung
What about
to
consistency, the most basic one? Like, Chelsea are the most hire and fire. I mean, they're like Watford, aren't they? The problem with that is that Chelsea have always won trophies when they've sacked managers. But surely it gets to a stage under the new ownership where it's like, okay, we're not going to do what Roman did. We're going to try something a bit different here. We're going to give it a go. We're going to look at what happened with Arteta. All of us, we can put our hands up in unison, said, this ain't working for Arteta. Useless manager. Got time, got rid of the players he didn't want. all of a sudden they're top of the league and everyone looks at them like they're playing the best football in the world.
There's two things here, right?
Uh-oh, what have I done?
Firstly, as of today, look, I've made my feelings known about Mikel Arteta this season. I've lavished praise on Arsenal.
What was you like about him for last season?
No, terrible. I think they should have sacked him. I thought they should have sacked him probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember the game that it was over Christmas. They played Burnley at the Emirates. They lost 1-0. I thought we'd wake up. It was a night game. I thought we'd wake up and he's got yeah. And I thought he should have been sacked. The problem, firstly, with using Arteta is twofold. Firstly, you've used it and you've said, look how good Arsenal are now. They haven't won anything yet. So let's see. I don't think you can't categorically say keeping him was the right thing to do because as of today, they're looking very good. And they certainly will be happy with how things are going. But they were turgid for 3 years.
Yeah.
To what? Potentially finish second in the league? Potentially win the league it's worth the sacrifice. Yeah. If they win the league this year, it will be one of the biggest achievements that's happened in the Premier League.
But you could say that the owners got it right and not sort of pulling the trigger, no?
It's certainly looking like they have, but it isn't categorically proved yet. And I think the other thing is, remember, Arteta sort of won an FA Cup. He proved that
early doors. Credit in the bank, early doors.
Credit in the, Whereas I just
and then he beat Liverpool in the Community Shield. Early doors,
anything.
Something.
Like I just haven't seen anything from Potter. Like I feel like on every decision that he's making, he's getting it wrong. I feel like his conduct is wrong. Like whatever, I thought, again, I'm very happy to admit this, I thought it was a wrong decision from Arteta. You know when he banished Aubameyang, got rid of Aubameyang, I think that cost Arsenal Champions League football that year. But I quite liked the ruthless, no-nonsense approach.
Love it.
What we're getting with Potter in an almost identical situation is we're not playing Aubameyang. We have no forwards. We definitely need him. We can't score goals. You know, whatever you think of Joao Felix, he's a brilliant player, but he doesn't score. Our goal scoring is abysmal. Aubameyang is at the club. Potter is telling us he's training well. And he's not selecting him. Like, if he's training well, you've got to play him because we need him. If he's not training well and he's up to his old tricks again and he's not towing the party line and he's a disruptive force, that's also fine. Tell us that and we never want to see him again. But I feel like on every issue he's handling it all so wrong. And do you know what I'm beginning to think? The reason, and that's what we're ultimately trying to come up with here, the reason that they're not going to sack him is twofold. The first thing is billionaires like Bowley, they don't want to admit they're wrong. The ego of a billionaire will keep him in a job because Bowley and Egbali will have to go, we've made a pig's ear of this, we're sacking him. So it's their decision. Yeah. The second thing is, 5-year contract, 12 million quid a year. Sweet payoff.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah, you want to fire me? Fire me.
Fire me.
It's fine. I'll be in a Premier League job in a few months.
Gets
and
a
I'll
Tottenham
be
job when Conte leaves, doesn't he?
He'll get some England job when Southgate goes. He'll walk into that, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you not think he gets... Like,
you know the worst thing for me is, look, we've tried to defend him. There are no defences. I just tried to.
Do you think we should sack him?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's useless.
See, it's interesting that you think
useless.
it as a Liverpool fan, because I thought that you might be... What I'm finding quite frustrating is a lot of people from who support other clubs, they're saying he's a brilliant coach. Like they're telling me, you know, when I'm watching him, I always find it quite patronising when fans of other teams, they go, he's brilliant. You're going to be good. Like really, because Southampton, who have won one in their last 10, have just beaten us at Stamford Bridge. So I don't think it's...
He's just not good enough.
No.
It's just... and sometimes it just boils down to that. It's okay. We have it sometimes in what we do. Sometimes you're just not good enough at what you've been asked to do. And that's fine. The worst thing for me with him is I watch Chelsea, and I'm going to compare it to other managers that have just taken up jobs. So Ten Hag, let's compare it to Ten Hag, who's just come in as well. You can kind of see the football they're trying to do there. I can see it. I know what he's trying to do. And look at the risks he's doing. Luke Shaw playing centre. Little things he's done. I'm like, all right, getting rid of Ronaldo. What do you mean you're getting rid of Ronaldo? Don't you do that? What? He scores goals. Big decisions have been made. He's put his head on the chopping block and they worked out. And I can see a style of football. I don't even see the style of football at Chelsea. I don't know what he's trying to do. Like sometimes formations change and it's all over the place. I will say this though, and this is not me defending him. I will say this. This is my final defence of him. Take any team takes that Kante, Reece James, Ben Chilwell, you're going to struggle. I don't care who you are.
Joe Cole said this.
I don't care what team you are. It's like Arsenal fans are having heart attacks about Thomas Partey missing a couple of games. Man United fans are going crazy about Casemiro. no disrespect to them, you can all sit on the bench for Kante.
Yeah.
Kante at his best.
He's signing a new contract. Well.
Kante pulled a hamstring, ripped his hamstring apart, missed the World Cup. You get that kid back in midfield. Remember, we were doing a show for a betting sponsor, and we were like, the best defensive midfielders are, and we was talking about, the answer's Kante.
Yeah.
If he's fit, the answer's Kante.
Yeah.
Reece James, when he's fit, best right back is Reece James. One of the best left backs, if not on his day, the best left back in the very bench. You can't rip that out of the squad.
Do you know what you're doing, though? Have you read Joe Cole's article in the Telegraph?
No.
Is that what?
No.
You haven't?
No. Did he
you
say those
you
three
and Joe
players?
Cole are cut from very similar cloth then?
West Ham boys, isn't it? He's from East London, isn't he?
you and Joe Cole are singing off a very similar hymn sheet. Because Joe Cole, obviously, I think he saw, 4 managers sacked at Chelsea. So he knows good managers, he knows bad managers, he knows when it's time to go. So I do defer to him, but I disagree with him. But what he basically said is, he said it's bad luck. He said Chelsea's bad luck under Potter is unlike any bad luck. And I just think, no, Joe, you can't put this down to luck. You can't. But
Some of it has to
do you know
be.
what he was flagging? He was flagging all the injuries that you just flagged.
Yeah.
He was like, if Thomas Tuchel's ridiculous save was flagged as a penalty, you assume Chelsea scored that penalty, Chelsea win the game against West Ham. It all looks so different. And Joe Cole basically said there are so many examples of Chelsea having bad luck under Potter that you've got to persevere with him.
All I will say, and I guess I'm just coming from a point of view where I've lived through it. Klopp, for that season when Liverpool came fourth, was the best manager in the world. Best manager in the world, right? Everyone used to say, oh, he's the best manager in the world. Liverpool, best team in the world. We lost Van Dijk and Matip and Gomez. We had no centre-backs and that was it. We couldn't even play. We still had all the other players. We couldn't do it. We removed our best players and we couldn't do anything. Even when Van Dijk got injured against Everton, after that we pretty much collapsed. Like Van Dijk's gone. Kante and Reece James are your best players, obviously alongside Thiago Silva. But in terms of longevity, Kante's just been that king. Yeah, everything revolves around Kante in that midfield. And sometimes I think people don't give him the respect because he's only 5'5" and doesn't have that kind of Rodri, Casemiro stature about him. He's so important to Chelsea. Again, look at United when Casemiro doesn't play and they've gone crazy. Like, oh my God, no Casemiro. It's one player. So why can't Kante have that same effect?
I like hearing your take on this. I think on some level, hearing from opposition fans is more valuable. Hearing your thoughts on Potter, because you're not so entrenched in it and so affected and hurt by it. Like, I get venomous and it's not nice, and I get this geezer out of the club. And I'm probably wrong on that. But it's because it's so close to the bone.
But is it also because of your
nothing?
But is it also because of you're so used to hiring firing nowadays that it's just after a handful, it's a bit more than a handful, but after a few games, you're like, nope, done.
No, it's not a few games. And I really did see that's something that I'm finding annoying. People are constantly pretending that he's new in the job, and he isn't really.
Would Chelsea fans right now be saying get rid of Klopp?
Games.
Would Chelsea fans right now be saying get rid of Klopp?
No.
Answer honestly.
The reason I don't
would
think
Chelsea
so,
fans
not
right
because
now,
of what's been won. So, for example, when we got rid of Mourinho twice, the fans were very anti that.
Even the second one?
Yeah, never.
Okay,
No, the second one, we were at the ground. I remember being at the ground. Yeah. The first one came out of the blue. We lost in Europe to a Norwegian side, I think, and he was gone before we realised it. Came back and he was gone again. So when it's Mourinho, like club legends, we were anti the sacking.
Okay.
When it was Ancelotti, we were anti the sacking. When it's Scolari, we're out.
Get out.
When it's Scolari, who tried to rip up the previous season before Scolari, we got to a European Cup final. We lost, but we got to a European Cup final, and it was the big dogs that got us there. Yeah, Drogba, Lampard, Terry. Scolari came in and tried to get rid of them all. Move it around. What are you doing? That's Drogba in the team.
Yeah.
3 years later, he's going to win us the European Cup. He didn't want to play him. So we were very much get out. AVB early. I was the first, I reckon, on that one. I was just like, getting this geezer is an absolute joke. Like, absolute joke.
I wish you had a YouTube channel back then. Yeah, I wish you did.
I'm glad I don't. But I think as a support, we are very... And me, within the support, I would say on the spectrum of who goes first, I'm very quick. And with Potter, I was late, actually. I did my best. But I just... The issue for me is I just don't see him pulling this back. That's the question.
You know what the issue for Potter
do
is?
Chelsea win the league with Potter as manager ever?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
You know the
so
problem
it's over.
you know what the problem is? You see, like, we obviously, I don't know when you're going to put these videos out, but we done a Liverpool video and you asked about Klopp, and I think he's going to do it because he opens up his trophy cabinet and there's trophies to say he's done it. The thing with Potter, He's never won anything.
No.
So it's not like he knows how to even do it. You know what I mean? He's got the job based on some good performances from Brighton. So there's nothing even in the CV to say
and they
he
weren't
can
that
do it.
good. It's the running of the club, and it's and De Zerbi's got in there and done better. Yeah. And all the problems that he had at Brighton are applicable at Chelsea.
Yeah,
Brighton couldn't score goals. Do you remember we were like, if they had someone better than Morpah, they'd
they score. And now they're scoring.
And now they're scoring billions.
And you can't score.
We can't score. It's a Potter issue. But I've enjoyed this, Addy. I really do appreciate you sharing your knowledge on this, because we all get a bit. I think when it's your club, you get a little bit kind of affected.
Yeah.
So it is nice to have the perspective. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And crucially, in the description is the wonderful Ade Oladipo's YouTube channel. Make sure that you click the subscribe button on that. We really would appreciate it if you would be that kind. I will see you all on the next video. Please let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Should Chelsea sack Potter? In a bit.